Hello, folks. It is the weekend. The end of the week. That's what weekend means, and we need music. So, I gotta be real, that's not the music I expected. Peaceful forest? This is not a peaceful forest, this is a jazzy forest. Yeah, I think this forest may be a little too peaceful. Holy sh... Hello! We're back with more Broken Sword, Circle of Blood, Shadow of the Templars. Whichever of this game's, like, 4 names you want to call it. We're back with it. Hope I'm feeling good. I am feeling, how am I feeling? I'm feeling awake. Yes, I think that's... I'm feeling awake. And conscious. Like... I'm not bad. I'm not particularly great, but I'm not bad. And there's room for improvement, which is good. Ah yes, the topic reminds me, I shoved my arms way down deep into the fiddly bits of Scum VM, and I figured out how to save the game. It's some weird bullshit. By nature, apparently the game saves with a .tmp extension, which I assume it intends to finalize at some point, but it never actually gets to it. So, what you have to do when you save the game in a new slot is open that .tmp, change the extension to just the save extension that it wants, and then you've actually saved the game. It's, some stuff. I am going to have the saved game directory open in the background, so I can check and make sure it's actually, like, saving the game. Now, I kind of trust the autosave. I think the autosave will probably work. Never hurts to trust, but verify. I gotta make sure that it's working. So, I'll settle with that. How am I? Mostly tired. I only got about 6 hours of sleep. That's largely alright. I'll sleep more later. Your everything is blue. At least according to the, automatically generated Twitch color that gives you chat box naming. Now, just because I am mostly awake doesn't mean that I'm not kind of doofy. I am probably gonna be tired. But that's okay. This game can be smart for me. George Stobart, he's terribly bright. He's bright and intelligent, and he says words. I am lying. But yeah, it's gonna be a good night. I can feel it. Let's go out there, solve some puzzles, click some things. We can both point and click. And, about 5 seconds, we're gonna go over to the big screen, or the wide screen. And I'm gonna pull you folks down here. You can get acquainted with my ears. Say hello to the ears. This lovely saxophone music can go away now. And I will attempt to load directly into our working save. And that save works. I'll be damned. We got sound? George?
Are you ready to make some bad choices?
I sure am.
Through the grimy glass, I could see several large shapes in a gloomy room. What they were, I couldn't imagine.
Large shapes in a gloomy room. Hello, and thank you for the subscription for 19 months? Ah, that can't be right. Help! Time is passing! Ahem. For 19 months, and hello Silver, and hello Flare, and hello Ernest, and hello Sariathorn.
I considered smashing my fist through the pane, wrenching open the window, and vaulting triumphantly into the building. Then I thought, no, that's dumb. Besides, I might get hurt.
And if there is a George Stobart in a single line, I feel like that little spiel there, that's him. I could smash open this window and dive through. No, that's dumb, and I could get hurt. Yeah. Thank you. You are the anti-Gabriel. Getting some dweeb vibes from this guy, a little bit. Anyway, to catch up those of you who did not attend, we're George Stobart, American patent lawyer, on vacation in France. We found a manuscript of the Knights Templar, because there's always a fucking Knights Templar. You cannot get away from them. And working with a journalist named Nico Collard, we have expanded our search to this museum, which we are about to explore. Let's see what's in the museum. Let's see. What is all this?
A metal rod attached to the wall was connected to the window.
A metal rod.
The rod turned smoothly, and the window above me opened.
Okay,
High
we've
above me was a window.
managed to open
the
a window.
was wide open.
That's good. I don't know if it's... Oh, and that guy walks over and closes it. Well, we'll have to do something about that.
It was a stone carving from ancient Egypt.
Ooh.
I was no desecrator of tombs.
Okay, so you're not English. That's good to know. What's this?
It was an ancient Egyptian sarcophagus with a beautifully painted effigy of its owner on the lid.
Okay, George, you are desecrating a tomb right now.
That closet is over 3,000 years old.
Closet? It's a sarcophagus.
And what do
The
we
totem
have?
pole looked distinctly out of place in the setting of the museum.
Let's touch all the exhibits.
Watch out! You would have that done on top of us!
Well, this guy's a real killjoy. We gotta get rid of him.
It was a tapestry of a lady, a lion, and a unicorn. If I'd had more time, I could have stared at it all day. Touching an object as rare and beautiful as that would have been the act of a barbarian.
Standing wardrobe in sarcophagus style.
It was a large brass
I would
urn.
approve of that. Can I touch the urn?
There was nothing in the urn.
Yes.
I looked down at a collection of tools with wooden handles and tarnished metal blades. There were knives, chisels, and spikes fanned out in a semicircle. I guess there's always been a need for home improvement. The case contained 2 rows of silver coins. Each coin on the lower row showed a portrait of a guy with a huge nose.
Yes, Emperor Huge Nose. The 14th.
The case contains some fragments of pottery. They look to me like broken flower pots. Above them, a sign read, L'Âge Paléolithique.
And then there's this thing in the middle.
In the case was a spindly tripod, blackened with age and pitted with rust. It was identical to the tripod pictured on the manuscript. A notice identified it as 15th century from Western Ireland. It had been found in Loch Marne at the site of a Knights Templar preceptory. Ireland!
What's that?
This tripod was found in Ireland.
I will have to ask you to keep your voice down.
I'm sorry, I was excited.
Ah, George, I love you. And your incredible dipshittery. Ireland! Can we have it?
As I reached toward the display case, a shrill piping filled the air. I froze, then tried to get myself together and act nonchalantly.
Hey, no! No, monsieur. No.
What's wrong?
You must not handle the exhibits.
I'm sorry.
Alright. No, these are not manipulatable. Only the coffin is. Sarcophagus. You also can't interact with, like, the two people, wrestling.
The attendant had an air of self-importance and the kind of steely eyes that never seemed to blink. Pardon
Alright,
me,
let's chat
Oui,
with him.
monsieur?
are you Lobineau?
Oh, no. Fancy you mistaking me for him. No. I am the deputy custodian.
But Lobineau does work here.
Work? I wouldn't go so far as to call it that. He studies here most days, but as you can see for yourself, not today.
Alright, he's not here today. Let's press this guy on everything in our inventory, as we tend to do. And for starting off with a used handkerchief.
What do you make of this tissue?
It is absolutely disgusting, monsieur.
Good, good.
Do you recognize this red nose?
I don't think so.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur. Is there any reason why I should?
I guess not.
Oh.
Do you recognize this ID pass?
No.
I've always wondered how I personally would react if somebody came up to me and just started showing me the contents of their pockets. Like, do you recognize this? What do you know about this? Do you know what this is for? I would like to hope I'd offer at least some amusing dialogue.
What does this tool mean to you?
That belongs in a museum.
Pardon?
It is a priceless historical artifact, if I am not mistaken.
No, it's a plain old tool for lifting drain covers. Would you like to shake my hand?
Not while I'm on duty, monsieur.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamut?
Oh, no. I don't frequent places like that.
Alright, let's press him on the contents of the museum then.
What can you tell me about the collection of pottery?
Those are remains of pots used by the original inhabitants of Paris. The Paris pot people.
When did they move out?
15,000 years ago, monsieur. Vanished in the mists of time. Didn't even have time to pack up their pots.
How Hyrulean.
I thought the original inhabitants of Paris were a tribe known as the Parisi.
That is right, monsieur. Renowned for their pots. You see, in those days, people didn't have much in the way of possessions. A few flints, some animal skins, maybe the odd bone or two. Naturally, when the Parisi came along with their pots, why, everybody wanted one.
I guess they must have caused a kind of consumer frenzy.
Ah oui, they conned the market, cleaned up.
I'm not sure this is accurate history. Please do not use Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templar, or Circle of Blood as a study aid.
You don't know the first thing about those pots, do you?
No, monsieur.
Updating Wikipedia right now. What do you make of this tool? Would you like to shake my hand? Do you recognize this red nose? What was the strange thing the dog did in the night?
What can you tell me about the collection of coins?
A rare example of silver coinage from the reign of Philippe le Bel. That little old lay buried for centuries in a field on the outskirts of Paris. They're unique. Nothing like them has been found anywhere else in Europe.
Wow.
Who was Philippe le Bel?
You don't know? Philippe IV, the King of France.
Wasn't he the guy who wiped out the Knights Templar?
I have no idea, monsieur. All I know is he was King of France. I don't even know why he was called Philippe le Bel.
George Stalbert tells you you're wrong for 5 minutes. I don't know if George could actually, like... I'm trying to figure out if George would actually be able to tell you that you're wrong about things. Like... I would love to hear him...
Do you know anything about medieval manuscripts?
Not me, monsieur. I am no scholar, though people often mistake me for one. It is the uniform, I guess. They see the clothes. They are impressed.
And they ask you to park their cars?
They ask me to park the... No. They assume I am an authority on the exhibits in my care.
Whereas you know next to nothing about history.
Of course not. All I am saying is I am no scholar, not like Monsieur Lobineau.
Unfortunately, Mr. Labano is not here. Maybe he'll be here later. Maybe he'll come back.
Do you know anything about the Knights of the Temple?
No, sir. Not a sausage.
Aw, man, I want temple sausage.
The sign on the tripod says it was found at a Templar preceptory.
It does?
You don't know anything about the tripod, do you?
No, I don't. I never had much of a start in life, you see. I owe what little education I gained to my uncle. He was an optician, but he also doubled as the village school teacher. He taught me the alphabet. Well, 19 letters of it. The bottom row of the chart was too small even for him to read, so he left them out.
Why don't you start over and enroll for adult education?
You know, I never thought of that. Do you think if I studied hard and did all my homework, I could be a professor of history?
At your age? Dream on.
Wow, okay. Maybe George would tell you you're wrong for 5 minutes. That's a good joke. Yeah, the line about the eye chart. I love that. I also love that we got an entire backstory for this dude, like, out of fucking around.
Can you give me any further information about the tripod?
Certainly, monsieur. It's infamous. That tripod, that belonged to John Dee.
Who?
What's the importance of John Dee's tripod?
Dee was the most famous escapologist of the 16th century. The Houdini of his time.
Don't you mean alchemist? Escapologists use ropes, chains, and handcuffs, not tripods.
Well, whatever he was, that is the tripod he used in his experiments.
Okay. I was honestly expecting a John Dee's nuts joke, so...
What kind of experiments did John Dee perform with his tripod?
Oh, the usual. Didn't you study chemistry at school?
Yeah, but we skipped over thaumatology. Can I take a closer look at the tripod?
What? Get it out of the case? Ah, no! That tripod is protected by a sophisticated surveillance system.
How sophisticated?
A painfully loud alarm bell.
Ah, of course.
How is the alarm bell triggered?
By the slightest pressure on or movement of any part of the case wherein that tripod is situated.
Okay, so you touch it or move it.
It strikes me that to call your alarm system sophisticated is, well, stretching the truth a little.
It has never failed yet. The sophistication is in its simplicity.
Okay.
Thanks for your help.
Well, I think we better go tell Nico that, her friend Labano isn't here.
The tripod was definitely the one on the manuscript. The Templar connection confirmed it. I was tempted to go to Ireland to check it out.
It's weird how the music just suddenly gets louder and softer. Like mid-sentence. I was tempted to go to Ireland and check it out. Well, let's go talk to Nico about it first. And then, heck, we can go to the airport. Oh no, we can go to Ireland on a whim. I want to know how much George makes as a patent lawyer, because we can just pack up and go places.
Hi, George.
I found the tripod.
Where?
In the museum. It belonged to the Templars. It was dug up in Ireland at a place called Loch Marne.
I have heard of Loch Marne. I read an article about the castle. Take a look for yourself.
George, do you have to do that?
A popular gossip magazine? You read that rubbish?
No, I write it.
Professor Nigel Pegram, excavating the medieval castle at Loch Marne. That's strange.
What?
He resigned his chair at Durham University in order to devote his time to the excavation. Not only that, but he canceled the filming of a 4th series of his popular television program. This site at Loch Marne must be awful important to him.
He's a professor of history. They're all cuckoo.
All the same, I'd like to talk to this Professor Pegram. How do you feel about a trip to Ireland?
Disappointed.
Huh?
That I won't be going. I want to follow up the Bellotta case. If you really think Pegram's Dam is important, why don't you visit Loch Marne?
On my own? I'm not so sure about that. Where is Ireland exactly?
Oh, George, do you have to be that American? So, Nico being disappointed that she's not coming. In most future games in the series, certainly Broken Sword 2, probably Broken Sword 3, Nico takes a much larger role in the investigation. She starts actually going places with George, or investigating on her own. Where is Ireland exactly? It's next to Greenland and just south of Poughkeepsie and a little bit north of Africa. I'm sure you can narrow it down on the map from there.
What do you know about Professor Pegram?
I've seen a television program, Pegram's Past. He's written a book, The Crusader Families of Ireland.
I'll bet he'd be interested in the manuscript.
Bet he would.
I'll see you later.
Okay.
Let's
Keep
head
me
to
informed
Ireland
if
then.
you find anything new.
On a whim and a prayer and a single name. George is like, how hard can it be to find one professor in all of Ireland? At least we know what castle he's working at. That'll help. To the airport? How George sees the world. To Loch Marne.
Several hours later, I arrived in Ireland, the Emerald Isle. I'd been lucky to get a bus from Dublin to the tiny village of Loch Marne. On the way out, the driver told me there was only one service a day.
So in other words, we're not leaving. Well, let's check the place out, starting with this menu.
The menu was limited. It read, No food today. I didn't care. I'd lost my appetite somewhere over the Irish Sea.
George doesn't fly well, I guess.
It was a trap door in the sidewalk. I tugged at the trap door, but it was locked from the inside.
Alas.
The drain was covered with an iron grating, through which I could hear the rush and surge of running water.
And distantly, Oliver complaining. Alright, there is a kid here. Let's accost him.
The lad was doing his best to express his adolescent aggression. His effort was somewhat diminished by the fringe of milk on his lightly feathered upper lip. Hi there.
What?
What's your name, kid?
Who are you calling kid? Who the hell are you?
I'm George Stobart, and I'm with the good guys.
You're a head case, mister. A few sandwiches short of a picnic.
Cut the crap and tell me your name.
Liam McGuire.
What are you doing hanging around the bar, McGuire?
I'm on the run from me dad.
Why? Did you do something bad?
I ain't done nothing, boss.
You can tell me, kid. Is it your dad?
Oh, sir. He drinks every last penny down his evil throat. And there's me poor old mother, bedridden and dying of presumption. I tried to buy her medicine. Chopped firewood for Father Mahoney till me fingers bled. The old skinflint cheated me too. But I took the pennies he gave me back home. Look, Ma, says I, see what your darling son has earned with his own sweat and blood. When suddenly, me dad appears and grabs the loot. I'm off to Dublin, heavy drinking, says he. Watch out till I get back. That's why I runned away.
Something in the grin on his face told me he wasn't being strictly truthful. Compared to him, Huckleberry Finn was a candidate for Altar Boy of the Year.
A truly epic tale. Hello, Shatari. Alright. Let's make with the inventory, although I don't think any of it is going to mean anything to him.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Nothing.
Have you ever seen anyone wearing one of these?
Sure. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
It's a clown's nose. I was almost killed by the guy who wore it.
You should have told the cops.
I did. They weren't interested.
Yeah?
Have you ever seen this man before?
What a slimy character. No, I never seed him.
Yep. This kid is amazing.
Take a look at this, McGuire.
It's an ID card. What of it?
Ever heard of Thomas Merlin or the Gruber Electronics Corporation?
No.
Well, that's valid.
What do you think this tool is used for?
Lifting drains.
Dead right. How did you know that?
Work experience course at school. That gives me a choice of going down the drains or up the chimney.
You're kidding.
He probably is, but smart kid.
Do you recognize this matchbook, McGuire?
No, sir. I never seen it before in my life.
Give me your hand.
Get lost.
Oh, come on. I just want to show you a little trick.
No way, mister. I don't do tricks. Father Mahoney told me I'd burn in hell if I did.
I just want to shake your hand, that's all.
Oh, all right.
Gotcha. Neat, huh?
Didn't feel a thing.
That is the first and I think only time that actually works.
Have you seen a guy dressed as a clown?
Here in Lochmarn, they all dress like clowns.
The man I'm looking for is a dangerous psychotic.
Jesus. It's just like that film I saw. There's this clown, see, and he's after this kid who saw him kill a guy. He tries to warn the sheriff, only no one believes him. Then, while he's in the tub, the clown cuts him up with a chainsaw.
My God, that doesn't sound suitable for a kid like you.
Who are are you calling a kid? I'm 25.
Yeah, right. You're not a day over 14.
Oh no, it's 25 that I am. Married with a car and 3 kids. 10 kids if you count the wives.
What? Did you impregnate the car? I want to hear more of this kid's backstory. I want to know. Okay, never mind. Let's move on.
Do you know a man called Pegram?
Can you describe him like on the telly in the cop shows?
He's an English archaeologist.
I know the man you mean if he's the one.
Yeah.
Can you tell me where I'd find Pegram?
No, I can't, 'cause he's not here now, but if I sees him, I'll ask him.
Okay.
Do you know what Pegram was doing in the castle?
Digging for buried treasure. Jewels and gold and skeletons, like in the films.
Like with Pirates of the Caribbean?
Do you know anything about Pegram's dig?
He wouldn't let me anywhere near it. I offered to help, but he chased me off. I didn't want to see his smelly old hole anyhow.
Oh, god damn it, we're back to the holes.
Did anyone from the village work at the dig?
Pegram brought some students and bums with him. He reckoned no one in Lochmarn would know what to look for. The only local guy who worked for him was Sean Fitzgerald.
What does this Fitzgerald guy look like?
Big head, big ears, and face irons.
What?
You know, spectacles, glasses. He's blind as a bat without him.
What can you tell me about the castle, McGuire?
What do you want to know?
Well, can I get inside?
No, it's locked up.
Does anyone live there?
No, only...
What?
Oh, nothing.
Aha, we're finally getting some real information.
You know something about the castle you're not telling me, don't you?
No,
What is it you're covering up? Is it something you're scared of?
I ain't scared of nothing.
Alright.
I'll give you one last chance to tell me about the castle.
Oh, yeah? And what if I don't?
Then I'm taking you back to school.
Oh. There's a ghost. It's called the Phantom of Lochmarn.
Well, he's proven to be incredibly trustworthy in all other respects. I'm sure we can believe him on this one.
You're not telling me you believe in ghosts, are you?
Mister, I seen it with me very own eyes. Last Tuesday night, I went up to see what that dig was about. I just reached the top of the wall when I hears this awful noise.
What sort of noise?
A horrible snuffling and snorting, like O'Brien's pig, only worse. It was coming from inside the castle.
Did you find out what was making the noise in the castle?
No fear. I just sat there on the wall like Humpty Dumpty. The moon was cracked and greasy like an old dinner plate. The yard was full of shadows. I could have been hiding anything. I would have gone home, but me legs had lost their stuffing.
Did you get to see the ghost?
Indeed I did. And a fearsome sight it is too. I sat on my arse, waited while the moon went down. Then out it comes from the shadows, all grey and tattered and hunched over like an old bent willow. Then I hears this spluttering and splashing and horrible laughter in the dark. I was so scared. Why, I fell off the bloody wall.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure there's a rational explanation for what you saw at the castle.
There is. The bloody place is haunted.
See you later, kid.
Okay, mister.
Can we just head on up here? And is there anything up here? Yep. There's a whole castle up here, I guess. I love the meticulous detail in the game. You can see the reflection of the door in these puddles. Somebody drew that. I respect that.
The gates were made of solid, age-blackened wood.
George Stobart, one-man
Pushing with
castle
all my
siege.
strength got me nowhere. They didn't budge. I really need to start working out.
I like that one. All of the rest of the lines have been in, like, past tense. I really need to start working out as in present tense. Implying that George, while narrating, is thinking, wait a minute. I know it would have helped if I'd been really jacked.
On the back of the cart was a crazily stacked tower of hay bales, leaning precariously against the castle wall.
Can we do anything with that?
Get away, you silly noodle! Can't you see the load's unstable?
So are you.
The farmer's craggy face was set in a mask of aesthetic appreciation. His feet were set in a pair of manure-caked boots.
Oh, good.
Hi, it's me again.
So I see. What now?
It's me, I guess, because we touched the hay?
Good book?
A book? It's a passport to a world of fantasy and imagination.
Yeah, what's the title?
Creative Shelving for Beginners, the 1978 edition.
Creative shelving. Oh, well.
What's so cool about home improvement?
There's nothing like it. The resinous autumnal aroma of seasoned wood, the rhythmic rasp of the blade. Ah, no wonder our Lord came to earth as the son of a humble carpenter. I bet he was a wizard with a chisel and a length or two before.
This is the kind of man who spends all day watching, like, lathe videos on YouTube.
Surely the portrayal of Christ's adoptive family as humble artisans is a symbolic metaphor.
I don't know about that, but I know they were carpenters. Haven't you read the book?
Well, no. But I have seen The Greatest Story Ever Told, and I don't recall Jesus putting up any shelves.
Yeah, I guess.
What can you tell me about the castle?
Not much, I'm sorry to say. Most of its history is long forgotten. Ah, but if these old stones could only speak, what stories they'd tell. Stories to make your toes curl and your blood run cold. You know, this castle is said to be over 600 years old.
So are you. It's not gonna work twice. It's not gonna work twice. I should have saved that so are you. Oh well.
Who built the castle?
Mad Phelan, the first lord of Lochmarn. Well, I say lord, but actually he was little more than a village chieftain. He built his castle from the remains of the Templar Preceptory.
Oh, the Templars. Okay.
Do you mind if I climb up your haystack to get into the castle?
What? You'd break your stupid neck for sure. Do you think I stand by and see your brains dashed out?
I'd be very careful, and I promise not to sue.
You won't get the chance, not while I'm here to stop you.
I mean, you could just stand there. You could just sit there and read while I climbed. It'd be fine. Alright.
Where was the site of the Templar Preceptory?
Right here, on Temple Hill. Phelan built right on top of the old wall. It's said that deep beneath these walls, there's a Templar chapel.
Did Pegram discover the chapel?
I don't know. His workers were sworn to secrecy.
Oh well.
Have you seen Professor Pegram?
No, he's packed up and gone.
Do you happen to know where?
Back in England, I suppose.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do the inventory run.
What do you make of this tissue?
That's a sorry sight to wave about in public.
Oh, it's theatrical grease paint.
And that makes it all right, does it? I must remember that next time someone complains about the state of me handkerchief.
Does this false nose mean anything to you?
You're a circus clown.
No, but I got this from someone who disguised himself as a clown.
Is that a fact? Why did you do that now?
He's a psychotic killer. I think he may be connected with Pegram's disappearance. Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, but I wouldn't trust him. His eyes are too close together. He's not a friend of yours, is he?
Oh no, far from it. In fact, I believe it's the face of a killer.
I knew it! Piggy eyes. Can't trust him.
That seems somehow offensive. But so did the nose thing.
Do you recognize the name on this card?
I can't read that little writing.
It says Thomas Merlin, Gruber Electronics.
Is that your name? Tommy Merlin?
No, but what a great stage name. It had what my high school hypnosis act had lacked, style and class. For a few seconds, I bathed in spotlights on a thundering tide of applause. Tommy Merlin, hypnotist.
Are you all right?
I'm fine. I just remembered something.
Just spend a few minutes in your inner world, George. It's fine. You're just in the middle of a conversation. Whatever you say, Tommy Merlin.
What do you make of this matchbook?
Seems ordinary enough to me.
Does this tool mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't. Is it used on sheep?
No, it's for lifting the covers off drains.
Never. How?
Well, the end of the tool fits into the hole in the cover.
They'd slip out. Angles are wrong. You'd never do it.
I have. I did it in Paris. Would you like to shake my hand?
What is this? I don't do that male bonding stuff.
Okay, we
I
can
have to
move
go
on now. We've exhausted this man. Just disassociate mid-conversation. Yeah, that is very... The way George says no fascinates me. He says it like a curse word. He kind of does. Actually, it looks like we can use the manhole opening tool on whatever this is. Can we, in fact?
The workman's key was the obvious tool to use to open this trap door. It was specifically designed for a job like this. Unfortunately, there weren't any holes in the trap door.
You lie. I see one right there. Oh, well. Let's check out the bar where... Believe me, George will be insulted more in this bar than I think in the entire rest of the game. We are entering an Irish bar, which is, be brave. There looks like there's kind of a shutter back there. Can we, do anything with that?
Hey, where do you think you're going?
Excuse me?
No customers behind the bar. Ever.
Alright. Well, let's, talk with the... Ooh, what's this?
It was a beer-stained piece of toweling.
I'm going to steal it.
The man's arm lay across the towel, preventing me from moving it.
Oh, okay. Well...
The white whiskers on the bartender's flushed face were like garlands on a Christmas tree. The resemblance ended there. The top of his head was too slick and shiny to act as a perch for a Christmas angel.
Odd subtitling mismatch there. Let's have a chat with the bartender.
Top of the morning to you.
Oh, George, no.
I beg your pardon.
Well, that's what you Irish say, isn't it?
Do you want something? Or are you just flaunting your xenophobia?
Well, I was trying to be sociable.
Is it a room you're after?
Sure, I don't know how long we'll be here.
That's not a bad idea. Do you have a vacancy?
I could, if you don't mind waiting until the last guest checks out.
No problem. When will that be?
When the undertaker comes to collect him.
Alright. Let's start in.
I'm looking for a man named Fitzgerald.
Fitzy? What's he done?
I believe he may have worked at Peagram's Dig.
Sean Fitzgerald?
Work. You got the wrong guy.
I mean, he's obviously, like, right there, but...
Do you know a man called Pegram?
Indeed I do. Are you a friend of his, by any chance?
Nah.
Oh, no. I'm just trying to track him down.
Me too. That son of a bitch should be locked away.
Really? What did he do?
Did Pegram stay here?
That's right. In the best room in the house.
That's the one with the bed.
Can I see Pegram's room?
It's been taken by one of the brothers from the reformatory. They come every year for spiritual refreshment.
That's a good one. Their idea of refreshment is a gut full of stout.
I wouldn't want to disturb a man of God, especially not a big fella from the bad boys' home.
I don't blame you, Mick. That brother's got muscles like a muscle man.
Muscles like a muscle man. Is that the dude with the allergies? Alright, let's try and get a drink.
I'll try a glass of beer, please.
Is this your first pint of real ale?
Well, I guess so. What's real ale, anyhow?
Beer that's brewed from natural ingredients to traditional methods. It shouldn't be kept under pressure or refrigerated. And finally, it should have a good body and distinctive character.
In other words, it's flat and worn with bits, and it makes you fall over.
There is now a pint of ale on the bar. We can have it whenever we want.
Have you served any, clowns recently?
No, you're the first today.
Seriously, I'm looking for a man dressed in a clown costume.
Would he be having a little white dog with a black patch over the eye?
I shouldn't think so.
I don't know if that's a reference to something specific. It feels like it should be.
What can you tell me about the castle?
You're the second person to ask me that today. I don't know anything about the castle. It's only an old ruin anyway.
Who else was asking about the castle?
He said he was a reporter. He was asking about the little people.
I could have told him a tale or two about the little people. He might have paid me to hear what he wanted me to say.
Anyway, I chucked him out on his arse.
Good for you, Mick. That's the way to deal with journalists.
Alright.
Does this tissue mean anything to you?
That's disgusting.
Uh-huh. I found it in the sewers.
What's the idea of waving it around in my face? You're worse than old Ron. Put it away, man.
Yeah, that's fair.
Does this false nose mean anything to you?
It's not Red Nose Day again, is it?
I don't know. But this is part of a clown's costume.
I know that. Good God Almighty. What do you take me for?
That sneezing is really distracting. I'm gonna go
Thanks.
find out what that guy's deal is, actually.
I'd been taught not to judge people by their appearance or their clothes or the length of their hair. Nobody ever said anything about runny noses.
Offer him a tissue. That's not a bad idea. Let's give him the tissue.
Hi there, old-timer.
What?
Nasty cold you've got there. As soon as the words left my lips, I regretted them.
Is there such a thing as a cold which isn't nasty? I put the question to Father Mahoney. Father, says I, why were we born to suffer snot?
What did he say?
He said, it's my reward for being out all night like a sinner. Pious prig. Anyway, this is no ordinary cold. 'Tis the hay fever.
Pollinosis?
Thank you. You're not a policeman, are you?
Excuse me?
Police? No. I'd know it if you were.
You could make use of this tissue.
Never use them. Those things are unhygienic.
Ah. Well, okay. Every time he sneezes, his drink moves further away from him. And he has some kind of string here.
As soon as the old guy looked away, I grabbed his piece of wire.
George's kleptomania continues.
It was a short piece of wire, twisted into a rough circle. Hello again.
Naturally, we have to ask him about it now.
What?
Here, this wire belongs to you.
Oh, no. Never saw it before. No.
Oh.
What's that you're making?
It's a necklace, me bucko.
Oh, sure. Made out of steel wire?
That's right. A necklace for my pretty one. When my little lover feels it round her slender neck, she'll be mine. All mine.
Well, I'm significantly creeped out.
If I was a woman, I wouldn't think much of a wire necklace.
It's not made for a woman. I've got my sights on tastier dishes than women. Flesh as smooth and tender as a maiden's. Bones as soft and white as a newborn babe's. Rabbit, lad. That's what gets my juices flowing.
Well, I'm not gonna judge. I'm definitely judging. I'm judging. I'm judging really hard right now.
Ah, so you're making snares to trap rabbits.
That's right. Do you have a problem with that?
Damn right I do. Isn't it painful?
Only if I get me fingers caught.
I'm talking about the rabbits. Do they feel much pain?
You bet.
Well, he knows what he's doing.
I'll see you later.
Let's talk to obviously Sean
I
Fitzgerald.
recognized the guy from McGuire's description. He was real twitchy. Mr. Fitzgerald?
What?
I need to speak with you urgently.
What's the problem?
Did you work at Professor Pegram's dig?
What gave you that idea?
McGuire says you did.
You don't believe that damned hooligan, do you?
Why not?
His probation officer could tell you a tale or two.
Where can I find Professor Pegram?
I heard he's gone fishing. I don't know where.
What can you tell me about the castle?
There's nothing there. Just an old ruin.
How old?
I really couldn't tell you.
Have you ever explored the castle yourself?
I used to play there sometimes, when I was a kid. Then one of the little ones fell off the wall, broke his head and died. We didn't go there anymore.
You haven't been up there recently?
No.
Have you heard about the gem which Pegram found?
I heard a rumour, but you can't believe everything you hear or see, can you?
Or see, you say?
Can I get you another drink?
Oh, no thank you. I shouldn't be drinking at all. I'm on tablets for my nerves. More than a pint and I'll pass out.
Really? I can't think of any way I can use that.
See you later.
Well, I'm gonna get him a pint anyway. Oh. George just casually drinks it. Okay. Well. Can I take the glass?
Somehow, I'd managed to drink the thick, sweet brew. I felt strangely compelled to order another, even though my every instinct warned me against it.
Now just
Somehow,
grab
I
the glass. Okay, we're not gonna grab the glass. What about these two?
Hi, my name's Stobart, George Stobart.
Hello there, mister. What can I do for you?
Do you know Professor Pegram?
Do I know him? Do I know the good professor himself? No, I don't. I mean, I know who he is, but I don't know him to talk to.
Do you know anything about Pegram's excavation?
Only that he didn't have the right tools for the job. What he needed was shovels and a JCB.
Pegram was digging for historical remains, not coal.
Is that a fact? What the hell for?
It's the science of archaeology, Pot. Understanding how people used to live by what they've left behind. One day archaeologists might be digging up our remains.
Imagine that, Mr. O'Brien. I wonder what they'll find.
Well, it won't be arrowheads and beakers. Fast food cartons and flavoured condoms, more likely.
I've often wondered what we will leave behind that people in the future will find interesting. My guess is fucking everything, given non-biodegradable objects, but hey.
Is it true that Pegram found a valuable gem?
What? First I heard of it.
Where have you been, Pot? That gem is the talk of every town from Lochmarn to Ballydoon.
Nobody told me. The lucky sod. So that's why he scampered.
Well, yes, but I said interesting to archaeology. I don't think microplastics are going to be interesting. You'll have dozens of them, at least.
Can you tell me anything about the castle on the hill?
Oh, I don't know much about anything. You should ask Mr. O'Brien here. He does joined up writing. Would you be one of them history fellas yourself?
Is George a history fella? I think George is probably a history fella.
That's right. Professor Stobart, Miskatonic University.
You're an archaeologist, and you're asking us about the castle.
Excuse me, Mr. O'Brien. The gentleman was talking to me. How come you didn't leave with the others?
I didn't know they'd gone until the landlord told me.
Miskatonic University. That was George's first fucking option.
Did anyone from the village work at Pegram's Dig?
I tried it myself, but that high and mighty history man called me incontinent. What a nerve. Hadn't I dug more holes than the rest of them put together?
Do you remember seeing Sean Fitzgerald at the dig?
Let me see now. I think me brain box needs a spot of lubrication.
Can I buy you a drink?
You most certainly can.
Give me a drink for my friend here.
Who, Doyle? Has he conned you into buying for him? Shame on you, Patrick. Same again?
Just a point this time, Michael.
1 point of brown coming up.
For some reason I love that interaction. Shame on you. So, what are you having?
Do you remember Sean Fitzgerald now?
I can picture the scene as if it was only last week. Come to think of it, it was only last week. Fitzgerald was there all right. Him and a bunch of students. He was speaking with the boss man.
Okay, so we have another
Bye
voice.
for now.
Is that an oven jiggling? What is that?
It was an electric glass washer. It looked even older than the barman.
An electric glass washer. Can we ask about that? Because we certainly can't
Excuse me.
walk behind the
Yes,
bar.
sir?
May I have another beer, please?
Certainly, sir. Same again?
Yeah, please. How is this stuff made?
That's the secret of the master brewer, sir. Each barrel is lovingly manhandled in time-honored fashion, suspended on skillfully tied ropes of the finest hemp, lowered into the cellar, utilizing the forces of original gravity, like manna from heaven.
Ah, yes, the forces of original gravity. Bless.
Hello.
Doyle told me you definitely worked at the dig.
You don't believe him, do you? Patrick Doyle is a moron and a scoundrel.
Even so, he saw you talking to Pegram.
You can't prove that, mister.
Damn, I actually can't.
See you later.
Well, that guy's elbow is now being lifted because he's got a drink, so we can steal the bar mat.
As the man raised his arm to drink, I snatched the towel away.
Now we have...
It was a rectangle of toweling printed with the words, Nagopaline Stout builds body.
Haven't heard about gravity-assisted brewing, where they artificial the gravity and ups the bottoms and downs the hops. I mean, I understand that people measure beer with gravity. I don't understand why, but if the gravity of the beer is high, it means that the beer is forming a black hole, and that's desirable to many. Probably. Anyway, we can use the wire, I think, to open this. Gives us a good handhold. No? Okay. Something about how light bends through it. I mean, that does sound like it's forming a black hole. Maybe a brown hole, depending on, you know, what kind of beer you're drinking. Alright, I am trying to remember, I'm trying to remember what the hell we do. Wait a minute, what's this?
It was a featureless plastic box firmly attached to the wall of the building.
Aha! A featureless plastic box. Obviously that's what we need to mess with.
I tugged at the plastic cover, but it didn't move.
Maybe. Can we rewire it? No? Okay. Can we try at it?
I tapped the plastic with the lifting key, but it was too strong to shatter.
Yeah, I admit, I'm a little fuzzy on how we move on. So let's just go back and talk to everybody about everything until something presents itself. Because we haven't talked to everybody about everything. Yet. We haven't talked to this guy at all.
He wasn't listening. The guy with the fiddle seemed oblivious to everything except his playing. Meanwhile, everyone else in the bar seemed oblivious to him.
Alright, what do we know? We know that, Fitzpatrick here shouldn't be drinking. It's true, I am a little fuzzy.
Hello there. My name's George Stobart.
Pleased to meet you, I'm sure. I'm O'Brien. Can I help you?
Do you know where I can find Pegram?
You're too late to meet that fella.
Is he dead?
Not that. But he's gone from the village. A small pint with our esteemed host, I might add.
Why has Pegram's departure upset the landlord?
He's lost a paying guest, that's why. More than that, there's the question of an unsettled bill. Poor Michael's seen red over the business, and I don't blame him.
Alright, Pegram didn't pay his bill. Maybe we can pay his bill and get access to his room that way.
Can you tell me more about the landlord?
Mick Leary? He's what you call a would-be sophisticated. The trouble is, his idea of sophistication extends as far as putting paper in the lavatory.
I never worked out why he did that. It's much too dark in there to read.
That's true. Have you ever run your hand over the back of the door? The graffiti is written in Braille.
The Irish Pub Comedy Hour, everyone.
Do you know where Pegram has gone?
I'm sorry, but I don't. He upped anchor in the dark and shipped out before the dawn.
Why did he do that?
Who knows? A guilty conscience or a secret assignation. Whatever the reason, he'll not be missed in Lochmar. Maybe now the fuss about the gem has died down, we can get back to normal.
What can you tell me about the gem which Pegram found?
Now there's a gem which should never have been taken. A man would have to be full of greed to covet that stone. What's your interest in the jewel? You're not a reporter, are you?
Nope, we are from Miskatonic University, as we said.
Oh no.
Thank the Lord for that.
What can you tell me about the castle, Mr. O'Brien?
It's a fine sight now, isn't it? Dates back to the 10th century, you know. Most of the existing building was added much later, of course.
Are the ruins open to the public?
Oh no, it's much too dangerous. Anyway, there's nothing of interest remaining.
Pegram thought otherwise, didn't he?
Ah, but it's not difficult to get them history boys excited, is it? Give them a bone to play with, and they're happy as puppies.
Was it Pegram who dug up the tripod at the castle?
The same man, if he wasn't his twin brother. And can you guess what he did with the tripod?
He sent it to a museum in Paris. I've seen it. How can I get into the castle?
Well, those walls were built specifically to stop people getting in, Mr. Stobart. But I dare say you'll find a way, if you've the will.
Interesting. And then the ghost thing vanished. Interesting.
Does this towel mean anything to you?
Sure, it's one of Leary's towels. Are you planning on stealing it?
Just borrowing it, if you must know. Does this red nose suggest anything to you?
It's a clown's nose, isn't it? I haven't been to a circus since I was 10 years old. O'Donnelly and I walked all the way to Ballymore, 15 miles in our bare feet.
Why?
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Nope, I've never seen him before.
What do you make of this piece of wire?
It looks ordinary enough to me.
Okay.
What can you tell me about this ID pass?
Gruber Electronics. I've never heard of it.
I don't think I'm gonna get any information out of him.
Does this tool mean anything to you?
I'd say it was for lifting manhole covers.
How come you know that?
I'm a man of the world, Mr. Stobart.
I too would recognize a manhole cover lifter nowadays. Probably because of this game.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
The design is Middle Eastern, I'd say.
Okay.
What do you make of this tissue?
I guess that muck on it is grease paint.
There's no fooling you, Mr. O'Brien.
Can we fool you?
I'd like to shake you by the hand, Mr. O'Brien.
I'd rather not. You see, I happen to notice that vibrating buzzer in your palm.
Yeah, he is easily the most attentive and helpful person in the entire game so far.
Goodbye for now.
And he's a random NPC in the corner of a pub.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
We cannot ask about paying the bill, so...
May I borrow this towel?
Sure you can, on one condition.
What's that?
You keep it away from old Ron.
Who's Ron?
That's him in the corner, with the hygiene problem.
Thanks.
You told me not to do something, so I'm going to immediately do the thing.
Hello again.
What?
Could you use this towel?
I could, but it wouldn't be much use for anything else.
Oh, well, alright then. Man, maybe we can call Nico. I'm sure he'll be fine with a long-distance call.
Allô? Couleur. J'écoute.
Nico?
Who is this?
It's me, George.
Oh, hello, George. Where are you?
I'm in Ireland.
What's it like there?
Kinda sleepy. Comatose, even.
Did you get to talk to Picaram?
I haven't found him yet. I figured I'd call you first. Are you okay?
Oh, sure I am. Don't worry about me, George. Any signs of our friend the clown?
You're kidding. He probably never even heard of Lochmarn.
Nothing. Can we...
Hello.
Ever seen this towel before?
Doesn't it belong on the bar?
Very observant, Fitzgerald.
Maybe we can give him a little zap? No?
Hello.
Shake my hand.
It's a trick, isn't it?
Damn it, you're right. I can't seem to fool anyone.
Okay.
See you later.
Wait.
Hello.
What if, we show him the
Do you
picture?
recognize the man in this photograph?
No, at least I don't think so.
Look closely. He has a scar on his face.
No, I'm sure I don't know him.
Damn.
See you later.
I admit, I'm, somewhat out of leads. Going to be hearing sneezing in your dreams. I apologize for that. I'd forgotten about that dude. See, there's nothing on the menu. We can't access the basement. And I don't know why we would.
Hey, McGuire.
What do you want to know?
I heard that Pegram had found a legendary gem.
That's right. It's been the talk of Lochman all week.
You haven't seen the gem, have you?
Hell no. I reckon Pegram made off with it. If I was him, I'd go to Amsterdam, chop it up and sell it. He could be living the life of Riley instead of digging holes.
Why Amsterdam? Why chop it up? Okay, well, that makes...
Are you sure Fitzgerald worked at the dig?
Oh, yes. It was him all right. Would I tell a lie?
Well, he denies it.
I saw them together only last night.
I wish you'd told me that sooner. What were they doing?
Pegram gave Fitzy a box. He didn't look too happy about it.
I knew it. But how am I going to persuade him to part with it?
Break his fingers.
No, I couldn't do that.
I could.
Thanks for the offer, kid, but I'll try a more subtle approach.
Chinese burns?
Amsterdam was the heart of the diamond trade. Interesting, I didn't know that.
Do you know where I could find Fitzgerald?
He's inside, but you won't get no sense out of him.
How come? Is he drunk?
He's like a frightened rabbit. A real bag of nerves. Why, the fella's scared of his own shadow.
Interesting. Maybe we just have to
later,
press him
kid.
about that box.
Okay, mister.
Not that we can, you know, prove anything, but... Let's pluck his strings a little harder. Right back to the sneezing.
Hello.
McGuire says he saw you working at the dig. What's more, he saw you talking with Pegram.
I knew this would happen. I knew I'd get caught. Just my luck. Grasped up by a delinquent and a dimwit.
I need to talk to Professor Pegram, if he's still alive.
What do you mean? Is he in danger?
Yeah, you too, if I'm right.
You're not from the Social Security.
Hell no. What makes you think that?
Well, I was claiming benefit at the same time I was working for Pegram.
I'm not in a position to make judgments, Sean. That's between you and your conscience. All I want is to talk to Pegram about the gem.
But he's not here.
I know that. But he left that package with you, didn't he?
I'm definitely not going to turn anybody in for violating Social Security. Fuck Social Security.
What did Pegram find at the castle?
The entrance to an underground chamber. It was filled with earth and rubble, and Pegram had us dig it out. We uncovered a secret room, a hidden chapel.
Did Pegram find the gem in the altar room?
I don't know. He made us leave and wouldn't tell us why. Half an hour later he came out, white as a sheet he was. He closed down the dig and locked up the castle, sent us all away.
From the sound of it, Pegram had discovered more than just the gem.
Aha! We're getting somewhere.
So where did Pegram go?
I don't know. I swear it. He came to see me early this morning. Said he was leaving.
He looks around, he crosses his arms. That idle animation drives me nuts.
He asked me to give this package to a guy called Marquet.
Show me what's in the package, Sean.
I can't do that.
Why not?
I promised the professor.
So what? You didn't have any qualms about your benefit scam. So where's the harm in taking a peek inside Pegram's package?
You don't know these people. I can't. I don't dare.
This is your last chance to show me the package, Fitzgerald. I've been patient with you, but now it's time to kick ass.
But he'll kill me.
Who will?
The man from Paris. Jack Marquet. Pegram told me if I gave him the package unopened, I'd hear no more about it. But if I double-crossed Marquet, I'd be dead.
Jacques Marquet, huh?
I'll deal with Jacques. Give the package to me.
No. Why should I trust you? I don't know who to trust anymore. I wish I'd never even heard of the Lochmarn gem. Hey, I just seen a big red...
Get out of here, Maguire. Come back when you're old enough.
What's the lad howling about?
A big red sports car. Sean Fitzgerald's been runned over.
Get out! Noisy little tyke.
Maybe you should send out some medicinal brandy, Michael.
Oh, yes. And who's going to pay for it?
Not me.
Me too, neither.
Well, let's go check on that.
I was telling the truth about Fitzy, mister.
Okay, calm down. Now tell me what happened.
I was standing here, minding me own business, when I saw this beautiful red sports car coming up over the hill. Would you look at that, says I, and I going over to take a closer look. Next thing, Fitzy comes tearing out of the pub and nearly knocks me on my ass, but the car just flies at him. It was too fast for poor old Fitzy, and hit him an awful wallop. He goes flying up on top. Jesus, says I thought he was a goner. Next thing, the driver hops out, and I couldn't believe my eyes.
Well, kidnapped
He was
at
dressed
least.
like a bloody pixie.
Ah, we found the pixie.
Have you ever seen this man before?
What a slimy character.
Alright, but
No, I never seed him.
I guess he, must have been in too good a
Did
disguise.
this pixie have a scar on his cheek?
I couldn't see. He was wearing a stupid mask. Are you a special agent?
Sorry to disappoint you, kid, but I'm not. Did Fitzgerald drop anything when he was hit?
I didn't see. It all happened so fast.
See you later, kid.
Okay, mister.
Well, that plastic box thing popped open.
The plastic cover had been smashed by the pixie's car, revealing a switch.
The Nintendo Switch! We got it!
I pushed the switch down, but in doing so it snapped off in my hand.
Oh. We broke something. Good for us. Anyway, if he died, he died. Big whoop. But we didn't get his package, which is a shame.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
I don't want anything.
Just give me a shout when you do.
I was about to reach for the pump when I came to my senses. A rash move like that in a strange country with strange customs could be my last.
Pump?
It was an electric pump operated by pushing a small lever.
Oh. Oh. If I can actually find the angle to drink. There we go. Yeah, animators from Don Bluth Studios worked on this. Which is why it has such a, well, Bluthian look. Alright, finish the beer.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
Hey, how about another drink?
Same again?
Do you serve cocktails?
I'll serve anyone with manners. And money.
No, I'm serious. Have you considered turning McDevitt's into a cocktail bar? Cocktails are chic, cool, and popular with younger drinkers.
What? Kids in the bar? Can you imagine it? Pinball, pimples, and puke.
Right, I get the picture. I'll settle for a glass of stout.
I'm sorry, but the pump appears to be broken.
I could fix it for you.
I don't think so. This is a job for a professional electrician. Oh well, at least the glass washer is still working. It's not my dear, is it?
Thanks.
So...
I couldn't see anything obviously wrong with the machine. I figured it must be the wiring.
Can we fuck with the glass washer now that it's broken? I know there's no customers, but...
Get out.
I could try to fix your glass washer.
Oh no, not unless you're a qualified electrician.
Well, George has no qualms about this, so, yeah, we're with Gruber Electronics. And Miskatonic University.
Excuse me.
Same time.
Yes, sir?
It just so happens I'm an electrician. Check out my credentials.
Well, now, isn't that marvellous? Here's a house bedeviled with faulty wiring of a wayward nature. Here's you, an electric man, with a little plastic card to prove it. I still want to see what you can do before I let you touch me beer pumps. You can make a start on the glass washer.
Alright. Good, cool. Can we go in back now?
When you finish that, will you take a look at the pumps?
No, he is now standing in the way. Wait.
It was an electrical plug attached to the glass washer.
Well, have you tried unplugging it and plugging it in again?
I used all my knowledge of electrical engineering to examine the plug. Seemed fine to me.
Alright, not a problem with the plug.
There was nothing physically wrong with the glass washer.
No? I can't just, like, handshake it to back to working? Let's see.
There was nothing...
Nothing physically wrong with it. Can we fuck around with the wire and the plug?
I replaced the fuse with a piece of wire. I knew it was dangerous, but I was desperate enough to disregard everything I knew about standard safety precautions. Excuse me, Mr. Leary. I fixed your glass washer, no problem.
Bingo! And a blessing to all the saints. A free half-pint to that man, on the house. Now, could you take a look at the beer pumps?
Well, I guess so, but I'm not making any promises.
If you can't fix them, I'll have a riot on me hands.
The pumps are in the cellar, right?
That's right. You'll find a flashlight down there somewhere.
Well, this place is gonna burn down. I'm pretty sure...
What a dumb place to store a flashlight. A dark cellar. The only way I was gonna find anything down there was to feel around.
How about feeling this obviously
My hand
highlight
closed
thing?
on a long metal rod. I pushed the lever and heard the grating of metal, but nothing appeared to happen.
I like how it's kind of blurry down here. Well, I don't see a flashlight. And I don't see any interactables. But we did push a lever. which may have unlocked the thingy outside. And that'll further our goals, if nothing else.
I lifted the trap door, and an overpowering smell of stale beer rose from the cellar below. I looked down on a stone-tiled floor, way too far to jump.
Excuse me.
There was a nasty feeling in my guts I usually associated with light opera. It was Khan. What's the problem?
Did you see what happened here a few minutes ago?
What was that?
A man was involved in an unfortunate accident.
I didn't see anything.
What about the boy?
He doesn't know anything either. The kid, well, you know how it is in these rural communities. Not enough genes to go round. I prayed McGuire had the sense to keep his mouth shut. Was the guy hurt bad?
He's been taken care of, but he thinks he dropped a small parcel. You didn't happen to find it, did you?
If I had, I would have taken it to the police.
Of course. Thank you.
I feel compelled to save the game all of a sudden. I don't think we can die here. But, even so. Now I just want to check something. Have to actually check documents, saves. It looks like the save did work, so I'm hopeful. Alright, back down to the cellar. The most villain... It is a very villain Rasp. Like, damn, man. Do you want a cough drop?
No!
Alright, now we can see. And we have a
Then I noticed
flashlight.
A flash of light. Something sparkling beneath the open trap door. It was Peagrim's gem, all right. A large, uncut blue stone. As I held it aloft, I realized the fascination it could command. I guess I was already under its spell.
Did you find it?
What?
Whatever you was looking for.
Yeah. Listen, McGuire. I want you to keep this to yourself.
No problemo. Just chuck us up a crate of lager.
No way. You're not old enough.
We can sell it and make some cash.
Forget it, kid. I couldn't betray Mr. Leary's trust.
I could, for sure. That old misery guts deserves it.
If you want to do me a favor, keep a lookout for that guy in the suit.
Okay. But it'll cost you a packet of chips.
Oh, and shout if you see that Ferrari. It was a couple of paper sacks filled with trash.
Ooh, anything in there?
I searched the trash, but there was nothing useful there.
Oh. There is nothing down here that would help me fix the beer taps.
It was a calendar with a faded photograph of a prize-winning carp. It was a bunch of cleaning materials. It was a rusty faucet. The faucet creaked, coughed, and spewed out a stream of rusty-colored water.
So, I do vaguely remember that we have to be terrible people about this.
I held the towel under the faucet and soaked it with water.
At least I think we do. Can't remember actually how. No?
It was a rusty faucet.
Alright, let's turn it off.
I shut off the faucet as tight as I could, but it kept on dripping.
Uh...
The slow drip of water barely dampened the towel.
No. I had hopes, but... Oh, now we have a water-soaked towel. That'll help us...
No! Careful!
It was an electric pump operated by pushing a small lever.
I don't remember what that'll help us do, actually. But we have a wet towel.
No!
Now we can snap it at people's butts. What happens if we shove the wet towel into the electrical box? Nothing. Alright. He already had a wet towel. His name is George. It's true. George. Well, George is more of a wet blanket. More of a wet blanket, less of a soggy bar mat. I don't suppose we can... No, he's just going to talk about how he has to work out again.
Pushing with all my strength got me nowhere. They didn't budge. I really need to start working out.
I still love how that one line is in present tense. Alright, what do we do next? I'm actually a little fuzzy on what we do. I really have no idea. We want to get rid of this guy so that we can climb up the hay bales and get into the castle. Maybe if we slap him with a wet towel.
Hi, it's me again.
So I see. What now?
Have you any use for this towel?
Whatever gave you that idea? Oh dear me, no.
Maybe if I show him the gem?
Hi, it's me again.
So I see. What now?
This is the gem that Pegram found in the castle.
So that's what all the fuss was about. I can't see why myself. Why men would fight and steal and kill over a little bauble like that.
Well, it's kind of neat the way it sparkles.
I can't see why men would kill for jewels. Well, shiny. I'm convinced that is, in fact, the entire reason. Shiny. Any new conversational options?
So I see. What now?
Did you happen to see a red sports car down on the road?
I caught a glimpse of a flash of red on the hill and heard the racket. Sure, it was an awful noise. A sports car, you say?
A Ferrari, to be exact.
A racing car? And what was it doing here? The poor fella must have been lost.
The driver of the Ferrari was involved in an accident.
Is that so?
Yeah, he knocked somebody down outside the bar.
What an idiot! How could a thing like that happen?
He was traveling too fast.
So fast, he ran right under the car?
I mean, the car was traveling too fast.
But you'd have thought the idiot could have heard it coming.
Maybe you know the guy who was hit by the Ferrari. His name is Sean Fitzgerald.
Oh, I know him all right. That's me nephew, the idiot responsible for the stacking of my hay cart. Was he killed by the car?
Oh, no, but he has been abducted.
Well, that's a relief now.
Okay.
Aren't you going to look for your nephew?
What for? From what you say, it's too late.
Well, you could report the matter to the police.
Better not. Besides, what could they do?
Well, they could mount a search.
They have only the one bicycle between them. In a question of superior acceleration, I put me money on the Ferrari.
Come on, please care enough to leave.
I think you ought to know exactly what Sean has gotten himself into.
I'm not sure I want to know.
But you're his uncle, his own flesh and blood.
You're right, but what can I do? If I'm not here to guard it, some idiot might try to climb the haystack. What a moral dilemma. Stay here and guard this potentially lethal agricultural construction, or to go off in search of the prodigal nephew, the very man responsible for said hazard? It'll need some thinking about.
Why, there's no problem.
You're right. Why didn't I think of it before? We'll demolish the haystack.
You don't have to demolish the haystack to go look for Sean. I'll stay here in your place and warn anyone who's silly enough to climb it.
Marvelous! I think I should start me inquiries in the bar.
He strode off in the direction of McDevitt's bar, leaving me to contemplate the stack of hay.
Okay. Now that he can no longer prevent idiots from climbing the haystack, let's climb the haystack.
The stack of hay stopped, short of the top of the wall. Even if I stretched as far as I could, the wall was out of reach. What I needed was a slice or two of Alice's Wonderland.
I don't suppose we can slip and fall. No. Well, let's see.
No.
Not
Above
climbing
my head
here?
was a gap in the wall where the massive stones had fallen away.
Well, I don't see... Oh, wait. There we go. There's a crack.
I inserted the end of the lifting key in the mortarless crack and gave it a firm shove. It remained lodged in the wall, jutting out to form a step.
Yes, this is the only thing more precarious than a haystack. A random, like, sewer lifting key jammed in the wall. And then there's this motherfucker. So this is a puzzle that, according to TV tropes, nobody can solve on their first try. I'm not going to say I did, but...
It was the fiercest, meanest-looking old goat I'd ever laid eyes upon.
It was a surprise to me that, this was a big deal of a puzzle, I guess.
It was a rusted piece of iron, maybe part of a plow or something.
So the puzzle is, if we try to walk over here, the goat strikes. That's it. That's the puzzle. How do you stop that from happening? And, you know, you can try a lot of things. But if you click on the goat...
Hey, Billy! The animal fixed on me with an evil glare. Behind the malice and resentment, there was a cool intelligence. How you doing, boy? I felt as threatened as I'd been by the assassin and his goons in Paris.
I know there's a way to click while the goat's in mid-animation. And that's the thing. Most people don't do that. I just forget what you have to click. I don't think it's the goat. I think you may have to get up and run. No? It may be the rope, come to think of it. Or it may be this piece of metal. is just getting fucking murdered, meanwhile. There's something you have to grab, and now I'm forgetting what it is. Like that the dramatic music is getting progressively more serious. Yeah, we're just gonna have George take a little nap there.
It was a rusted piece of iron.
I remember finishing this, but I don't remember how now. I just know that it involves clicking, like, while you're laid out on your ass. It's possible we have to grab the goat by the horns. It's possible we have to grab the rope. So I don't know why I clicked down there. I just can't find anything to operate. But yeah, the dramatic music is like, oh no, George is getting his ass beat! And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, that's funny. You know, now that I think about it, though. It feels kind of like... maybe we have to... And it's true that I'm not figuring this out on my first try. Oh, wait. Do I have to... No, I admit it, I'm a little stumped. I feel like from over here, we have to do something involving getting the goat tangled. Yeah, there we go. He sprints over there if you click on it while he's on his ass. And then the goat gets tangled in
by
that.
which the goat was tethered had become tangled on the old plowshare.
George falls down a lot. I may use that. Anyway, there's only a handful of interactable objects on the screen, so it didn't take me that long, but it does involve clicking while you're flat on your ass and the goat is in, like, retracting mode. So, I can understand the confusion. Anyway, we've unroadblocked ourselves. Here's another animated sequence. What do we have in here?
There was a pattern of 5 holes arranged on the wall. They'd been drilled there deliberately.
Yes, many things are deliberate in temple construction.
The bench had probably been used by Pegram and his archaeological team.
Oh, let's take that with us.
The only object on the table which interested me was a small sack. The sack contained a fine white powder.
George, no, do not get into cocaine.
As I dipped my fingers into the soft white powder, I realized what it was. Plaster of Paris. I'd used it in kindergarten to make casts of animal paw prints.
Good for you, George.
It was a statue which had fallen from its place on the wall. 5 fingers of stone projected from the back of the carving. The statue was too heavy to lift. It overbalanced into the sand.
Well, pick it up and put it back where you found it.
As I swung the stone upright, I noticed it had left a pattern of holes in the sand.
Really now?
I sprinkled the plaster on the sand until the holes were filled. I squeezed the towel as hard as I could, but it was barely damp.
Damn. We need to get more water. Clearly. Alright. Run, George, run. Hurry. So clearly what we need to do is get some water, and then run back here while the towel is... run, quote-unquote, back here while the towel is still damp. Hey, yeah, by the way, I'm totally checking out those beer taps. Totally doing that. How you doing, man?
Hello. Hello there. Let me introduce you to my pals.
We've already met. I want you to know you have my sympathy.
Oh, it's just terrible, awful.
It's the worst news I heard all day.
It's top the bad news all right for this week and the next.
The whole year.
It's worse than that. It's the worst disaster in living memory.
Isn't it the biggest calamity in the history of the village?
I would say it's the biggest in the history of Ireland.
The most awesome disaster since mankind paddled out of the primal plop.
There's no beer.
What about Sean? Why aren't you out looking for him?
There's no point in launching an ill-equipped expedition to save the lad. In a life-or-death situation, preparation is essential. That's why I slipped in here.
For a point.
Is a glass of beer more important than a man's life?
Were you talking to me?
To all of you. Sean Fitzgerald is met with God knows what, and all you can do is drink.
Sean has gone for a ride in a flash car, that's all. Why don't you calm down and join us?
I gotta go.
Alas. Anyway, we've caused the worst disaster in recorded history, possibly since the beginning of time itself, by leaving an Irish pub with no beer.
The faucet creaked, coughed, and spewed out a stream of rusty-colored water.
But there is water. And we need that.
I held the towel and...
So now we're headed back up. Actually, can we mix the plaster of Paris right here? And just carry it back? No.
No way.
Alright, well. Leg it, George! Run! Run! Sprint! Fast as you can! Not really that fast, honestly. He's doing his best. A very slow, deliberate sort of guy. Very slow sort of guy, our George. Anyway, let's see if we have any water in this, or if I have to do something else. No. There we go.
The trickle of water was quickly absorbed by the plaster.
Alright.
I eased the solid piece of plaster from the sand. Underneath, it had formed a perfect copy of the statue.
There we go. And now we can, you stick that in the hole?
The hardened plaster cast fitted snugly into the 5 matching sockets. There was a soft thud, then silence.
Alright. We've discovered a secret Templar passage. I love how every time George appears in a cutscene, he looks completely different. Back in Nico's apartment.
So, where did you stay last night?
At McDevitt's. I got to drinking with Doyle and a couple of the guys.
That explains why you look so ill today. Did you get any sleep at all?
Not much. I had to share the room with another guy.
Did he snore?
Hardly. He was dead. Then Leary woke me in the middle of the night to help bail out the cellar.
The cellar was flooded?
Yeah, some idiot had left the faucet running.
And you say Pegram has disappeared?
Without a trace. But my visit wasn't a complete waste of time.
Pegram's gem?
The Templar's gem. Whoever Jacques Marquet is, he's in for a disappointment.
Jacques Marquet?
He's the guy who should have collected the gem from Fitzgerald.
What are your plans?
I want to find out who, what, or where Montfaucon was. All I've got to go by is the name and a picture of a hanged man.
Montfaucon, huh? Interesting.
Look, Nico, a handful of plaster.
Yeah. Why is it that men never really grow up?
What's your problem, sister?
Your pockets stuffed with useless junk like little boys.
You never know when useless junk might come in handy.
Ah, yes, useless junk. Like this.
Do you want to look after the gem?
No, George. I'd be too tempted to sell it.
What are you doing to help trace the killer clown?
Research, George.
Yeah? You have a copy of the clown's yearbook?
I have a telephone and lots of contacts.
Oh, well, did you find anything useful?
Not yet. I'm employing my first and most useful weapon.
What's that?
Patience.
Oh, I've heard of that. Isn't it a substitute for decisive thinking? Have you found out any more about the murders?
Well, it may be nothing, but both the clown's victims visited Paris earlier this year.
When?
The second week of July. They were both here at the same time.
Did they meet?
I don't know, but I can't imagine it was coincidence.
Aren't we gonna tell her we saw Khan? I guess not.
How come you enlarged this photograph of me?
Because I noticed the guy behind you, of course.
Oh, well, okay.
I can't sit here all day, much as I'd like to.
Okay. Don't forget to look for Lopinot at the Kron Museum. And why don't you see if Rosso has heard anything?
Okay. Anything else I can do for you while I'm out? Shopping, a trip to the laundromat?
Just take care of yourself.
I really thought we would, you know, play up the fact that we met the killer a little more. I guess not, though. Well, we now have two objectives. One is talk to the police, because, they're just so helpful. And the other is hit up the museum. Let's try the police first.
Excuse me?
Ah, Monsieur Stobart, n'est-ce pas?
That's correct. You remember me.
The retention of such data is part of my duty as a gendarme. That is how crime is fought, through a...
Yes, sure.
Well, through attention to detail, he says, and I accidentally click the mouse button.
Is Rosso here?
Yes, he is. You wish to speak to him?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
One moment, monsieur. Stobart is here to see you, monsieur.
Did he say what it was about?
No, monsieur.
Very well.
But yeah, the adventure game credo is, it never hurts to have tons of useless junk in your pockets.
Hi, Inspector. Remember me?
But of course, Mr. Stobart. My mind is a well-ordered faculty. A mental classification system that's the envy of the Bibliothèque Nationale. No tricks, mark you, monsieur. Just exercise. Just as our muscles waste through inactivity, so our minds decay. But there is no need. If only people would learn to exercise their wits daily.
If he was trying to impress me, it worked. He was pompous and patronizing, but he had style.
Eh bien, if you called about the bombing, you're too late. Investigations have been closed.
But
I've been taken off the case.
what about the murderer, the dead guy?
It is out of my hands.
Huh. Wonder why that is.
Ever heard of a guy called Marquet? Jacques Marquet?
Marquet? I know the name well. He has a record for suspected blackmail, kidnapping, arson, and art theft.
An all-rounder, huh? How come he's on the loose?
His bravado is matched only by the courtroom skills of his attorney.
Interesting.
Don't you want to know what I found out about the killer?
I told you, monsieur, the case is closed. I have washed my hands of the whole affair.
Then I'll have to continue my investigations without your help.
No. You must forget the business of the Crown completely. Go back to being an ordinary tourist, Stobart.
I feel like this is somewhere on, like, the quote-unquote hero's journey. Like, you're supposed to be rejected by the authorities or some shit. I don't know, I never paid any attention to the hero's journey. It doesn't really apply to me.
What was that psycho-detective business you did in the cafe?
It is my theory that the passions evoked in violent crimes create ripples in the ether, invisible to all but the possessor of a highly developed and receptive mind.
I'm impressed. Can you bend spoons, too?
I didn't think a man of your obvious intelligence would stoop to mockery.
I'm not mocking. I've had personal experience of the power of the mind. I used to get ignored at parties until I read a book that changed my life.
Really? What was it called?
Hypnotism for Fun and Profit. He looked at me as if I'd farted at a funeral.
The power of mesmerism is a rare gift, not a party trick.
Yeah, George had that weird fantasy of being like a stage hypnotist. Is something coming out about George that we need to know?
You're not going to try any of that psychic interrogation on me, are you?
Do you find the thought of my probing distasteful?
Let's just say I'd rather you didn't. I've got more doubts than doubting Thomas when it comes to mysticism.
Real happiness
Too
is just a
bad.
chemical state.
I think you would make an
And the doctors
interesting
won't let
subject
me
under
take any
controlled
drugs.
regression.
The day I let anyone mess with my mind hasn't dawned yet.
I like that we're in a police station and it rolls the quip about drugs.
Do you know a pair of thugs called Flap and Guido?
I have known those two since they graduated from special school. Flap is a nasty piece of work, but Guido is the real brains of the partnership. Where did you hear of them?
I met them out front of the Hotel Ubu. Did you find out the ID of the guy who was killed in the explosion?
I already knew who he was.
I heard that the bomb victim's name was Plantar.
Your sources are reliable.
He was a big shot at the Treasury, wasn't he? Maybe that's why you've been taken off the case.
I'm sorry, monsieur. I cannot comment.
Have you heard of Professor Pegram, the archaeologist?
Molly Pegram, the second son of Lord Barclay Pegram?
I don't know. I only read about him in a magazine.
So much for the efficacy of rehabilitation. What has he done this time?
He made an important archaeological find in Ireland. Do you know Pegram well?
I have connections with the family, but I wouldn't say I knew him at all.
Is his name really Molly?
Of course not. That was the nickname he was given at school. All his friends and acquaintances know him as Molly.
Okay. I'm not gonna
So long,
doubt you.
Inspector.
So he's off the case. That's interesting to know. Let's let Nico know. That was hard to say. God, this envelope is getting kind of full, George.
Hi, Nico.
What do you want, George?
Nothing special. I just wanted to be sure you were okay.
I'm fine. Thanks for your concern.
Oh, alright. Well, let's go see about, the museum. Is Lobno actually here this time? Who knows?
He was a thin-faced, pallid guy with a questionable taste in outlandish clothes. My mother used to dress like that.
He's wearing pants the same color as your jacket, George.
I beg your pardon. Are you André Lobino?
That's me. You want my autograph?
No, I was told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobart. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay. Shoot.
I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much. Only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript? I'd love to see that for myself.
Yeah, I would love to let you see it.
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah. Not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman. Maybe it was my imagination, but I noticed a predatory look in his eye. Suddenly, this friendly historian had turned into the big bad wolf.
I mean, if that's literal, that's fine. That's fine.
What can you tell me about Philippe le Bel?
He was responsible for the extermination of the Knights Templar.
I know that, but why was Philip
Let's
so
exhaust our
hard to get rid of?
conversation options first.
Mostly because he wanted to get his hands on their treasure. He had an enormous debt and a lifelong war with England to fund. The trouble was, the Templars were a highly respected holy order.
Holy orders?
If the Templars were so powerful, how did this Philippe dude wipe them out?
By underhanded, dishonorable means, of course.
Of course.
The Pope was Clement V, a Frenchman.
French, huh? Handy for Philippe.
Fate had nothing to do with it. He was Philippe's puppet, planted to further his political ambitions. Philippe wanted the wealth of the Templars and used Clement to get it.
So what was Philippe's plan? What happened?
Sealed orders were sent out all over France, not to be opened until the appointed day. That day was Friday, July 13th. That's the origin of our superstition regarding that date. At dawn, throughout the whole
I
of
genuinely
France,
have no idea if
the
that's
Templars
true.
were arrested. It was the biggest bust in the history of the world.
Aw, man. I wish I had the biggest bust in the history of the world.
Do you recognize this white powder, Andre?
No.
I'd like to shake you by the hand, Andre.
Not now, Georgie.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Nothing.
Take a look at this nose, Lobineau.
It really doesn't interest me, Georgie.
Georgie? Georgie? Okay.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
Alamut is the name of the place where the Hashashin were based.
Where is it?
Somewhere in what used to be called Persia. I'm not too hot on modern geography, I'm afraid. The most recent map I have shows America as an English colony.
That's still interesting. An assassin's den.
What do you make of this tool?
Interesting. Where did you get it?
From a dig in Paris.
Vraiment? I didn't realize there were any excavations in progress in the city.
Nice, George. Well done.
What do you make of this ID card?
Nothing.
Alright, let's show him the gem and see if we die. Like if he overwhelms us and takes it.
What do you make of this?
It's the biggest gemstone I've ever seen. Where did you get it?
From Professor Pegram's messenger boy.
Pegram? Professor Nigel Pegram? He's in Ireland, investigating a Templar site, isn't he?
He was, until he disappeared.
Did Pegram find this on his dig?
Yeah, the site where this was found was a Templar castle. Do you think it could be part of the Templar treasure?
No, I shouldn't think so.
Really? You shouldn't. Okay.
Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
The second week of July?
Maybe. Yes, it was, just before Bastille Day.
So Pegram was in Paris at the same time as the other victims.
Pardon? Victims of what?
Nothing. Just thinking aloud.
Yeah, don't narrate to yourself, George. Not in front of the, Well, I guess he's not really a suspect.
What happened to the Templars after their arrest?
Philippe was out for blood, so he handed the Templars over to the Inquisition. Not surprisingly, they confessed to a sensational and sordid list of blasphemies.
Like what?
Oh, the sort of things you read about in the gutter press. Devil worship, lewd sexual practices, spitting on the Holy Cross, that kind of thing.
Well, that must have given their lawyers some headaches.
Whether or not the accusations were true, this was not good publicity.
Sounds like a fun weekend to me.
Were probably cooked up, but so were the Templars. Literally. Hundreds of them were found guilty of heresy and flamed grilled at the stake. They died protesting their innocence.
Interesting.
But surely Philippe had no proof of his charges against the Templars.
A man will admit anything under torture. The Inquisition fabricated some nonsensical demon called Baphomet, and then suggested to their victims that this was what they worshipped.
But they didn't have to agree.
The records show a Templar coming to trial with both feet burnt off. Fragments of flesh and charred bone falling from the stumps.
Sleep well tonight,
What
everyone.
would you not admit to stop such torment?
So there was no truth at all in the Baphomet accusations?
Not a shred. Almost every victim described the idol differently. No, Baphomet never existed outside the sick minds of the Inquisitors.
So Philippe stole the Templars' riches, huh?
Oh no, they weren't stupid. The king's troops marched first on the temple in Paris, then to the Templar home port at La Rochelle. There was no trace of the treasure, and the fleet of the Knights Templar had set sail.
Interesting.
Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure, it was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
That explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
You know, it never occurred to me till now to wonder why my parents were always kind of concerned about the games I was playing. Like, this is the first time I've really thought about it, and, yeah, I guess I could see it.
Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
Oh well. Okay, so tell me all about the Templars.
Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. Soldiers, diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez.
No wonder they're usually portrayed as the bad guys.
How did the Templars get their name?
From the building in which they set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
How come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact. The poor Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Is it true the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found?
Who knows? So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Or, if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Do you think that's likely?
No, not for a minute.
But we have Assassins and we have Templars. This is an honorary Assassin's Creed game now.
This friend who has the manuscript?
The anonymous girlfriend.
She lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
I know it well. I'll drop by. Just as soon as I can.
Alright, he's
Thanks
got
for your help,
Nico's
Andre.
address now.
You're welcome.
Let's go let Nico know that. And then I think we will put the brakes on for the evening. I kind of want to actually eat tonight. Why did we do that? Because the plot does not advance until we do. Why did George do that? Because he's a dingus.
Hey, Nico.
Oh, hi. I didn't expect you back so soon.
Can we let her know, or... wait for George to sit down.
Have you found out any more about the Knights Templar?
Yes, I have. The guy responsible for their downfall was Philippe IV, the King of France, otherwise known as Philippe le Bel.
I've heard of him.
Well, he is known to history as Philippe the Fair, but I doubt if the Templars called him that. I'm sure André will tell you all about him.
Already done.
I'll see you again soon.
I guess we're not mentioning that Andre is stopping by. So let's hit up our last destination. And then we'll drop a save, and I'll make sure the save works. To Mofacon. It's a nice looking place. You'd never guess it was a scene of mass deaths. I'm hungry. So let me save here. I'm gonna quit. Or, I'm gonna quit out. I'll reopen Scum VM and see if the game will load directly to that file. And it does. So I've solved my quitting problems. I've solved my saving problems, I mean. So, alright. Let me just take a quick glance at Twitch. I've quit my saving problems. Alright. I am going to drop off. Good night for now. I will see you tomorrow. George will see you tomorrow. And, yeah. That's it. Good night.